everybody, it is Bubs Soup. How is it going? Today is a day for another girl talk video. So I don't even know like when was the last time I filmed like the last girl talk video. It's been so long. Yeah, I really should have like started this video earlier, but I blame jet lag. I actually was pretty proud of myself. I woke up at 7 a.m. No, sorry, 8 a.m. But then I fell back asleep at 11. And then I was up again at 1. So my day is over. But the night is long. Some of you guys have been waiting for this girl talk video based on the topic of parents' expectations. So I have been there, guys. So let's chill and talk it out. Okay, so first of all, we all need expectations, okay? If you don't have expectations for yourself, you will be a slob, okay? So we need some form of expectations, okay? Expectations could be a good thing because it gets things done, it makes you efficient, it makes you useful, and it allows you to reach your goals. It's only when expectations become so darn high that it could bring pressure and of course disappointment. I'm pretty certain that there's quite a few of you guys out there who had to deal with, you know, your parents or your guardians' fair share of expectations. You know, it's how you dress, how you look. You know, maybe they expect you to weigh a certain number, to reach a certain goal, you know, to have certain grades, to have a certain career, to meet a certain guy. Let's give you guys a little backstory on myself. So I am the middle child, and apparently I have something that's known as the middle child syndrome. Middle child tends to be the desperate one. So yes, I've always been the pushover of the family. I just do what I'm told to do, and you could say that I got my sense of, you know, fulfillment by pleasing my parents. I always wanted their approval. I was a good one. I always behaved. The one that did the chores was me. Here is just one thing I wish I learned earlier, and I realized that, hey, I cannot please my parents forever. Just keep in mind, your parents have expectations for you most of the time because they care. A lot of times they want you to be a certain way or achieve a certain something so the quality of your life would improve. So it is for your best interest, guys. And you know, for my mom, you know, even though, you know, she's a lot bragging to her friends about, oh, my daughter got this, but in the end of the day, what she really wants is for me to build like a solid foundation for myself for the future. I find that sometimes they may word things differently, but you know, a lot of times it is for your own good. So it's good to sit down and just, you know, think about their reasons as well. I also find that sometimes it's not just the kid in your playground or the kid in your high school that bullies you, nor is it your boss. Sometimes it's your own parents that bully you, you know, that bully you into doing things that you don't want to do, bullying you to, you know, feel a certain way. Some parents are pretty darn good at just making you feel guilty. Sometimes it's the people you love the most that hurt you the most, you know, and I know how painful it is when your parents compare you with other people, and they don't mean to hurt their kids, but yeah, you know, nobody is perfect. So I'm not perfect, so who am I to judge, right? I have a lot of respect for my parents because they had to work really hard from like a really young age. So, you know, for a lot of families, I can see why, you know, money is such a huge factor in their lives. So, you know, because my parents, they didn't really get to go to school and stuff. You know, they only know that being a doctor or, you know, being a lawyer or an engineer is good. You know, they don't really know about the other, like, you know, jobs out there. Because of my parents' expectations, I was just so afraid to choose the path that I wanted to do. You know, I've always loved art. I ended up picking a different course that's kind of related, more to do with graphics and advertising. And you know, during my first year, I hated it. I knew it wasn't right for me. But because I was so afraid of how my parents would react, I did not want it to be disappointed with me. I did not want them to see me as a university dropout. I thought, okay, I'll stick it out and see how it goes. And then before I knew it, I got my degree. My parents were happy, and it was time for me to look for a job. And I really regretted it because here's me thinking, okay, am I going to spend the next years of my life working in this job that I absolutely hate. You can say I learned it the hard way. You know, it really doesn't matter because the one that has to live that life is you in the end. When I was dealing with my parents' expectations, of course, you know, it was out of love. It was always like this, you know, so I would reach it, awesome, okay, but then I would keep going up and then, you know, I have to chase after it again, and it was just exhausting. It's just a never-ending race. All because of pride, all because of fear, all because of just trying to make my own parents happy. I wasn't happy, and honestly, you can fool the world, but you cannot fool yourself, guys. It would have really helped if I just had a bit more courage and strength to make a change for myself. Some stage in your life, you will realize that you just cannot live your life based on other people's expectations of you, and I'm not even just talking about parents. Sometimes people don't understand, but hey, they don't know your story the way you do, right? I've had a friend and he was a chartered accountant, so he was earning big bucks, but he was miserable and stressed. And you know, with his parents, there was a lot of conflict going on because he decided to give up on that job. He basically went on to work abroad and teach children English instead. So, you know, pay-wise, it was lower, but everything else, he felt richer. You know, he was richer in happiness. And, you know, even though the parents weren't happy about it and everything, eventually they just got to see how, you know, more relaxed he was, how happier he ended up being. He's a perfect example of someone who tried to really live up his parents' expectations, and then it just exploded. He ended up making a change for himself, and you know, everything worked out. They finally understand. You have to try to talk to your parents and reason with them, and if they understand, that's great. If they can't be supportive, I know it's a huge shame, but you cannot let that hold you back, guys. A lot of you guys are young adults. You'll learn to spread your wings one day, and you know, to reach your own goals, you have to learn to make your own decisions. So, you know, first of all, you have to really reason, you know, reason their expectations. You know, is it good for you? Is it damaging for you? And just with your reasons, you have to reason with them. Does that make sense? Just do the best you can for yourself, okay? I had a lot of people tell me, you know, oh, you're wasting your time, why don't you do this? And years later, I proved them wrong. But it's not like I wanted to prove them wrong. I mean, that just came along with everything. You know, I got to really prove to myself, if your parents aren't happy with the person that you're dating, what can you do about it? Like, honestly, you can't force them to like that person, right? The one that's dating the person is you in the end and not them. Believe it or not, guys, it actually took some time for my parents to accept him. And I think it was awesome because Tim never gave up. He always made an effort. And I got to just really realize that, hey, I got myself a good guy. You know, he's so good to my family. Most of all, what really matters is that person is good to me, okay? So if your parents don't like that person, you know, think about their reasons as well. Your worth is not validated on how other people think of you, even if it is your parents. You know, I'm just gonna end with one last thing. You know, when other people have high expectations of you, I don't really believe, you know, it's your problem. I think a lot of times it's their problem and something that they have to like deal and work with. Good news is it's not your job to change how they think, but you can focus on yourself. Hope you guys enjoyed today's Girl Talk video. Let me know in the comments what you want the next Girl Talk video to be about, and I shall see you very soon.